Welcome to episode 18 of A Slice of Pie podcast, where we visit with the people in Pawleys Island, Rural Zone, Georgetown, and the surrounding areas. My name is Kat Loftus. This week, we're going to visit with Father Patrick Stenson. Father Pat is a Catholic priest. He is the former pastor of Precious Blood of Christ Catholic Church, and he's now retired, but he's still in our area, and he still says Mass in our church sometimes, and he hears confessions, and he does baptisms and weddings. He also does a lot of work up in Garden City at St. Michael's Church up there. He travels to do weddings for a lot of people. He has so many great connections around the whole United States. He is often called to do weddings and baptisms and funerals. So he stays busy. During this interview, Father Pat speaks quietly. He has a soft voice, so I need you to listen carefully. If you can't hear him, turn up the volume. I kept making signals to him like, speak louder, talk louder. But he did a great job. I had the microphone on him, and he just has a soft voice and an Irish accent, an Irish brogue. So you just need to listen carefully. If you can't hear it, just rewind it and listen again. He is worth hearing. I know you see my dogs in the background. There's Duke and Macy. So he talks about growing up in Ireland, getting ordained, going to New Guinea and serving there, getting a skin disease on his hands, having to be treated in Melbourne, going to New York, then going to San Antonio, Texas, eventually going to the Army Reserve, becoming a U.S. citizen, joining the Army Reserves, becoming an Army chaplain, the different bases he went to, going to Honduras, going to Nuremberg, serving with NATO, coming back to Washington, D.C., serving in the Soldiers' Home, and eventually coming to Pawleys Island to serve as our pastor at Precious Blood. And then what he started when he was here, starting the he helped get our Parish Life Center built, then started Father Pat's Lunch Kitchen and helped other churches in our area start their own lunch kitchens too. So he's just done so much and made so many great relationships with the people in our area. A man of service and just loves being around people, loves his family. He occasionally will go back over to Ireland. You're going to love listening to everything that happened in his life, and he gives us a little Irish blessing at the end. I wanted to feature him since he was an Army veteran, and this is Veterans Day weekend, and we want to say thank you to all our veterans for their service to our country so we can remain a democracy and land of the free, home of the brave. So I hope you enjoy episode 18 of A Slice of Pie podcast. Sit back and enjoy. Hi, Father Pat.
Hi, Kat.
Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
You're welcome.
I know you're a busy man, and so I thank you for sliding some time in here for us today and for our listeners. Yes. First of all, would you tell us and tell our listeners where you were born and where you grew up and where you went to school?
All right. I was born in Ireland, in County Mayo, near a town called Swinford. In Germany, it'd be Schweinfurt. And I went to grade school there. I went to college in Swinford in the town, the boys' school. And then from that on, I went on to the seminary. That was it.
Where did you go to seminary?
I went to Cork.
Cork.
Missionaries of the
So in Ireland.
In Ireland, yeah.
Is Cork a county or is Cork a town?
Cork is a town and it's a county.
It's both.
Sometimes a county and the town, like Galway town, Galway county.
Like Georgetown and Georgetown County?
That's right.
Okay.
Just exactly, yeah.
So where is Cork in Ireland?
So Cork is the southern part of Ireland. Okay. I come from the west coast, near the Atlantic seaboard, near north of Galway, north of Shannon Airport.
So when you finished seminary, where did you go next?
I went for 6 years to New Guinea, the island of New Britain, and I spent 6 years there with the people, things were primitive there, but people were very good. We had 6 good years there. And
which were you on? Which continent were you on?
The island of New Britain.
New Britain?
Yeah.
Is it?
Southern Cape called Cape Coster. The Americans landed there, I think, in 1943. The Japanese had been there before that, but disappeared. So anyhow,
Father Pat, this is so awful. But is New Guinea,
New
is it
Guinea.
closer to South America or Africa?
Oh no, Australia, north of
Australia,
Australia, yeah, just north of Australia.
just north of Australia.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that
Port
lesson.
Moresby is the capital, and that's New Guinea. But it includes a few islands and a mainland.
A few islands in the mainland?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
So, so you were working with the primitive people, like the native
Yes.
people on the island
Yes,
of New Guinea?
yes, people, and they lived in their huts, and
Were they Christian?
some were Christians. They had priests there in the Second World War. Uh, the Japanese killed a few of them, and then later on, that priests there later on, and many of them were Catholics, all those other denominations, but the bulk of them were Catholic in the Cape Gloucester area of New Britain.
So you would celebrate Mass every week there?
I did. Well, I traveled a lot. I had to go up in the mountains to say Mass for the people up there in the coast area, different towns or villages, no towns really, and villages. Do Mass for in Pidgin English. They all had Pidgin English.
What's Pidgin English?
Pidgin English, it's in a different form of English, Papa, along me, Pella, our Father in heaven, all that kind of thing. It's a different.
So it's not a language that I would recognize.
No, you wouldn't recognize.
It's a foreign language.
You could make out some of the C's based on the English language.
So you're saying Mass in different parts of Papua New Guinea.
Different part, and
you were doing funerals and baptisms and all that.
Yeah, funerals, baptisms, weddings, everything. And,
did you like it there?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, the people were very appreciative. I was a licensed paramedic under the Australian government, so many people had leprosy, different disease. Leprosy was big, and when you diagnose that stuff, skin discoloration and so on, then you try to send them to an island out in the Pacific run by Catholic nuns, and Alawa and the island, and they took care of the people with leprosy. But
once they were diagnosed with leprosy, they were put on a boat and sent to another island?
Ship would come by, we put them on a ship that would be coming from the mission headquarters, and they'd get them to the island where they should go. But many of them ran away, didn't want to go, didn't want to go. Virtually died rather than leave the island.
So if they didn't want to go, they would just go live by themselves somewhere on Papua New Guinea?
Yes, and if they had leprosy or any of the diseases, people would put them in a little hut for themselves, and they died there too.
They would put them in a hut?
Drop food, yeah, they wouldn't want to mix with them. They never did throw the food at them and leave them there.
So leprosy is highly contagious?
It used to be, yeah. I think now it's much more controlled.
Okay, so you see, that's scary.
Yes, the skin, heats way on the skin.
Yeah. All right, so you were there for 6 years?
Yes.
Okay, so after that, where were you sent?
Not that I got a skin disease, so I had to leave there.
You got a skin disease?
Yeah.
Did you get leprosy?
No, no, it wasn't leprosy, but it was my skin all came off my hands and feet. So I was there 6 years, and I decided they asked me to go somewhere else for a moment anyhow. So I went down to Melbourne and saw a doctor.
Melbourne, Australia.
In Australia, and Dr. Smith, and he was very good, and he said, you can't go to tropical disease if it spreads further in your hands and feet, it'll choke you off eventually. And then I went to the Institute of Tropical Medicine in New York, and they said the same thing. This is a skin disease that you have to just take care of right now.
So you left Melbourne, Australia, and went to New York?
I went, New York. Then
where were you being treated in New York?
At the Institute of Tropical Medicine.
Institute of Tropical Medicine.
Yes.
Does that place still exist?
I'm sure. Sure does.
So did you have to stay there until your skin was healed?
Oh no, just to look at you and evaluate it and tell you what to do. We'll give you ointments and medicines. They all give you something to rub on it to calm it down and cool it off, kind of thing.
So how long did it take for you to get better from that?
It took probably a year and a half longer to almost. I was spent 6 months in Ireland. It was pretty good, and then I went to Texas, and the thing started to come back again.
Oh.
Somebody said, we know a doctor in Dallas, and he's very good. He works in this area, and so I went to see him, and he said he was very good. He said, okay. I said, my mom was Catholic. My dad was Jewish, so I went to the Jewish services on Saturday and the Sabbath, and I went to served mass on Sunday morning for the Catholics.
That's what the doctor said?
Yeah, he was a professor at Baylor, but he was a wonderful man. He said, we get all kinds of people here with skin diseases, Father Pat, so we had a treatment called Greens, Greens, Greens treatment. Greens. And he said that will, and within a day, like new hands and new feet. Somebody said to me, you're like a newborn baby, Father Pat. Your hands and feet.
So do you remember how old you were then?
I was probably about my 30s. I'd been ordained when I was 23. It's been 6 years, and New Guinea, about 33 years old, 34.
So really, from New Guinea, basically, you went over to Texas. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So then you were serving at were you serving at a parish?
I was in San Antonio, St. Anthony's Shrine. I was there for 13 years.
13. Okay.
Yes.
So after you were at that parish, then where'd you go?
Then I went on active duty. I was signed up for the army. I was in the reserves for a short time, and they needed chaplains, and so I signed up, and I was signed to Fort Campbell. So I showed up at Fort Campbell.
What state is Fort Campbell in?
It's Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay, before you talk about that, I remember I've asked you this question before, because sometimes it takes people who move from other countries to our country, it takes them many, many years to become a citizen. But you became a citizen very quickly, didn't you?
Very quickly.
Let's tell our listeners what happened with that.
Yeah, we were closing down Vietnam, but they still needed priests, and they asked me if I would want to, go there. I said, absolutely. But by the time they got me citizenship pretty fast and said, we're good to go. And then we were told, no, people are moving out. We don't need anybody to come in right now. But I worked with the refugees in Fort Chaffee, Arkansas, and different places with Vietnamese refugees, and I had a few hundred of them there, and I'd go say mass for them.
So you did go to Vietnam?
I spent a little time with them, yes.
But you became an American citizen before you went over there, right?
Yeah, before I went on the army.
You said it was like 3 days, like they expedited it.
Yeah, so certain conditions. I know if as an officer, you have to be a citizen before they can send you overseas.
Right. So when you were doing, you said, what were you doing in Texas? Did you join reserves or something like that? Were you doing the reserves or?
I wasn't. Yeah, I joined the reserves then after a certain point.
No. Okay, so you joined the army.
Yeah.
And then your first assignment was at Fort Campbell.
Fort Campbell, yeah, the active army. That's the
Okay, and then from Fort Campbell you were sent to Vietnam.
No, I didn't go to Vietnam.
No, you did not.
No, but I joined the army because they were looking for priests to go to Vietnam, and they got my citizenship, so I could go. You can't send a person who's not an officer in combat with the U.S. Army. Maybe enlisted people they can. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But for military, for people and officers of some kind, they have to have citizenship.
So how many days did it take you to become a citizen?
It didn't take long.
Like a
few weeks, because I was sure they asked me if I'd like to go to Vietnam. I said, I'll go if you need me to go. So they said, okay, Father, let's get all this. So they to some place in New Orleans and everything. They got me everything.
They got all the paperwork together.
Signed me over, citizen and passport and everything.
That's great.
It was great. It was really great.
So do you have dual citizenship?
I do. You have.
So you don't have to renounce.
I have an Irish passport.
You have both. Okay.
You don't have to. With some countries, there's agreements that you can be citizen of both countries in the sense that.
So then, but you did go overseas though. You did go to foreign countries where there was combat.
Yeah, well, no combat. I don't. I was in Central America, Honduras for a while. I was in Nuremberg, Germany, a chaplain there. And then I was at NATO for 2 years. Then I was at Fort Riley, and that was it.
Well, I remember you telling a story when you were in, I don't know if it's when you were in Honduras or one of those locations, you had to have like a guard with you, somebody guarding you.
They always gave you a chaplain's assistant anyhow. You had a guy.
Because chaplains did not carry a gun.
No. Well, some of them did, I think. In Vietnam, you blame them maybe, but I never carried a gun.
So, but you had an assistant that was armed.
Yeah, that's right.
Would follow you around to protect you.
Especially if you're overseas in an area where you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Was there ever cause for concern that you felt like your life?
Oh no, I know people were great. The children were there. They were hungry. We give them chocolate and goodies, food from after.
Was that in Honduras and Nuremberg?
No, Honduras.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Well, I'm glad you made it back. That's
Nuremberg
good.
was different. It was just William O'Darby Chapel in Nuremberg.
Mhm.
So I spent 3-4 years there.
Okay, so after you came back from Nuremberg, when did you go to the old soldiers' home in Washington, D.C.?
Oh yeah, okay. Then I went to NATO from Nuremberg, and then after 2.5 years at NATO, I went to Fort Riley in Kansas for 2 years, and then I decided I'd been 11 years active, just getting a little old for the business. Got to be tough. You got to be young and able to run and whatnot. So that has some standards. So, but anyhow, I could have stayed in, but I thought it was time to get out. So there was an opening at the Soldiers' Home in Washington, D.C., a home founded by Lincoln for people coming home from war and had nowhere to go. So North Capitol Street, near the Catholic University, across from Catholic U.
Yeah.
So I spent 6 years there and met some great men, people in the First World War, Second World War. There were 12 people from the First World War
Wow.
when I got there.
Wow.
Wonderful people. Wonderful.
Do you remember
people.
what year that was?
In
the 60s?
1993, 94, 93 to 99.
Oh.
Yeah.
You were there in 93 and there were people there from the First World War?
Yes, that's
wow.
right. They were like late 90s, early 100s. Yeah.
Wow. So the reason why I wanted you to tell our listeners about that is because we're celebrating Veterans Day this weekend, and yes. I wanted everybody to know that you're a veteran of the United States Army.
Yes, that's right. And I told them, in church, there's the Armed Forces Day, and then there's also Memorial Day, remembering all those who have died in combat.
That's right.
And the military, and today is the day to celebrate all
those who served.
All those who served.
In all the armed forces. Okay. Yeah. Well, we appreciate your service and you taking that role. It's not only a priest, but also as a member of the United States Army. So thank you for doing that.
It's great honor. I went into the Army to help people. They helped me more than I helped them. We signed me to a special ops for a while and 4 years there. They were wonderful people. They gave me my own helicopter when I go to Fort Knox to visit chaplains there or anything. They were very good to me. They really took care of me.
So you had a good experience. So how many years do you think you spent in the Army?
11 active and 7 reserves. Okay.
And then the time when you went to the soldiers' home, was that considered active duty?
That was after retirement. No, that was civil service.
That was civil service?
Different altogether, yeah. Okay. But I was there from the First World War, Second World, Korea, Vietnam, the whole bit.
So you would say mass for them or hear their confession?
I'd say mass for them when I was visiting at Walter Reed in the hospital or any of the hospitals. I went to the Navy Hospital in Bethesda. No matter where they went, I'd go to visit them. I spent a lot of time on the hospitals were the good men that had fought for their country. And I suppose it took a great toll on their lives, yes. Their families and everything. A lot of them had no family they were in contact with anymore. It's difficult. They did a lot of burials at Darlington and funerals and everything.
Did you meet people that worked in the Pentagon when you were up there?
I did. I did come to visit the home often, And,
do you remember anyone that you met from the
guy in charge of the home, General Hilbert, who was a retired general, and he was a good friend, a good man. So he was very good to me.
So you met some generals, you met some admirals?
Oh yes, we met a lot of people, that come to visit the home and different people, different places,
You also told me about a job that you had where you had to go visit the different military academies. What was that job?
What was that?
You had to visit the different military academies or check on.
Oh, that was a job that was possible later on, but I didn't get into it. It was just. It was
something that you was offered.
It was something that was an offering that was made about certain things I could do if I went back on active duty and like promotion, all that. But no, I was like. You have to be good and fit to be in the military and run a few miles. I used to run 15 miles on Monday morning at Fort Campbell.
It's good to know that you used to be a runner. I didn't realize you used to be a runner running.
Do it, Cat.
I'm not a runner.
Like everybody else.
That's right.
Best shot.
Okay, so when you came here to Pawleys Island, to Precious Blood, you came to us from the soldiers' home?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what year that was? I'm trying to remember the year. See, Patrick was born, so I know, was it like in the 90s or the 2000s?
Yeah, I probably baptized Patrick, did I? Yeah.
You did not baptize Patrick. Okay. You baptized Covey and Anna Margaret.
And Anna Margaret, okay.
So Covey's 22.
Okay.
So how many years do you think you've been here?
I'm here 24.
You've been here in Pawleys Island for 24 years.
Yeah.
So, yes, so you did baptize Covey and Anna Margaret. And you gave them their first communion. You probably gave first communion to
Yeah.
Patrick and Mary Catherine.
Yeah.
I know you did. I know you
Yeah.
gave them, and then and all the other sacraments. So, how long were you the pastor at Precious Blood?
17 years.
17 years. Okay. So when you arrived at Precious Blood, we were just so excited to have this Irish Catholic priest joining us.
I don't know. We, just a small population, had about 200 families,
Uh-huh.
and it was growing. But we had just the new church was built.
The new church was
but
just
we had
built.
nowhere. The kids were in a
Trailers
trailer home, and
for Sunday school.
I thought that was dangerous. And fire or anything, just wasn't safe to have kids. In
That's right.
Broken down trailer home.
Yeah.
We decided to put up a new parish life centre. We got that done eventually, and then Bishop Baker blessed it, and we're good to go. And
so let's talk about the parish life centre. So when we built that,
yeah.
that included a big, large gymnasium,
a
kitchen,
basketball and everything, and classroom for CCD.
All the classrooms,
everything. Offices for the staff. Everything. Yes,
beautiful. It's beautiful. And then we have that big field out there to the side.
Big field out there too.
And a little playground in the back.
Playground, yeah. We got a bit of everything.
It's a beautiful building. It really is. So thank you for coming and helping us get that built.
Yeah, we got all that done, and then when I sort of put up the new building, Bishop Baker blessed in the sun. It looked like July or something. So people called me next morning. Father Pat, you have that old hall now, Founders Hall, where you used to have your worship service.
Yeah, the Founders Hall.
Could we have it? All kinds of people called, organizations, Knights of Columbus, Women's Club, and other organizations not part of the church. Could we rent that place? I said, no, I got to give me a few hours on it. By 11 o'clock that day, the day after the blessing, I said, you know what? I'm going to try a lunch kitchen. I deliver food there at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter myself with everybody else.
Right.
We feed about 100 families.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd been delivering that food, see the conditions people were living in. Not great conditions, and a lot of them probably could do a little more food and everything. So I decided, I got a chance. We need a lunch kitchen.
Right.
People that ones I visited delivering food over the years, they hadn't much spare, really.
A lot of people don't think that we have any poverty in Pawleys Island because of the beach homes and everything, but we have a lot of poverty.
Because there are no jobs. You've definitely, when you had the steel factory in Georgetown, you could, and you had several flannel places in Andrews, they all closed.
Right.
So there's not much for the ordinary man and woman. There's not too much in Pawleys Island. Right. Just cutting grass or small jobs,
Domestic jobs, right.
But anyhow, when we, right after we got the new parish life centre, and I thought about it for a day, I said, I'm going to start the lunch kitchen. So I went up in the pulpit next Sunday and said, if you own a restaurant or worked in a restaurant and in the food business, I need help. We're going to try to have a lunch kitchen on the old parish hall where the people used to go to mass and everything. So some people said, you can't do that. But hey, go to work. That's it. Try anyhow, we'll find out. Sure enough, first day we had 5 people.
The first day you fed 5 people?
5 people.
Okay.
And they came and said, Father Pat, I'm going to work. Let's forget about it.
Right.
I said, no. Go out there and do a prayer for an hour and we'll work.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, we do the next week we had 10, next 50 and 100. But then a few weeks we're up to 100 people. So, and then I said, well, let's move it to another day then to Thursday.
So you started with one day, just with
one day, and
Wednesday.
Then we started soon with then Thursday, and then right there, then Saturday morning, 3 days. 2 days lunch and breakfast on Saturday morning. So the little families could come, the young children could come again.
And the meals are delicious, hot meals. Okay, you have great cooks back there.
All the people in there either own restaurants or chefs, so they know what they're doing. You really have to have some good cooks to be honest.
Well, they've done some phenomenal.
We feed about 300 people a week normally, so we're coming near within a few months we'll have over 200,000 people fed. That's a lot.
That's a lot of meals.
A little celebration.
You've got to feel good about that. Yeah. Well, that's what we're called to do, is feed the hungry. So you certainly have fulfilled that mission. Thank you for doing that. I want to also talk about how the Father Pat's Kitchen is run. The people, our guests, they don't go stand in line for the food. They sit down and they're served.
Oh, yes. Well, we started and they said, well, okay, now we're setting it all up. Well, we'll see what we're doing, what's going to look like. There's stoves and ovens, and I told them where to get food. There are stores to go to, and you know what? Food Line have been excellent. All the others have helped too. I can't, but they have been really beyond the call of duty.
Food Line?
Food Line.
What kind of things did Food Line give?
Well, they give us all kinds of bread, and
Like
we'll get other places do the same thing too, but they go beyond the call. Sometimes we
breads or
get
desserts?
steaks and everything and desserts. And
Steaks that you can use to
once
cook?
we try to have a steak dinner once or twice a year, and they were very good about that.
Wow, I did not know
Oh,
that
yeah.
the food line was donating all
They were
that food.
great. You're great.
So, but certainly our church would love to receive donations from any of the grocery stores, from
donations from anybody.
Publix or from
A lot of people
Lowe's.
make financial donations, and other people spend their time working in the kitchen, and it's great to do something. Whatever you do to the least, you do unto me. You know, in other words, I think the good Lord knows that we're all in need of something.
And really anybody can go eat there. You don't have to be in need.
No,
anybody can go eat
I
there.
go myself when I can. Thursdays and it's in Michael's. I can't go. Wednesday morning I like to go, and Saturday morning the breakfast is great.
It is great,
and to have to see people happy and enjoy it and see the good being done. You can't beat it.
Yeah. And so I really like when our children were growing up. They went over there to help serve, to get some of their service hours in as part of the youth. A lot of the youth will help serve.
Yeah, a lot of high school kids still come, and junior high, and some people bring their children. They serve and they enjoy it. They're here, Father Pat, see me. I say, oh yeah, I see.
So yeah, but it's kind of set up like a restaurant that the guests sit down, and then you get them their beverage, and then you.
Yes, and we have other places start. I remember I just started going, and then pastor Frank Holzclaw from the
Presbyterian
Church. He came to see me one day and said, Pat, I got a big hall, and I think I got the facilities, and I think I would like to take. So I said, Frank, I don't own the days, but I'll help you. He said, well, how do I get the food? I said, I have the big hall. How do I get the food? How do I get the volunteer? I said, we'll train you to volunteer, and I'll tell you how to get the food. And if you ever run short, but I'll give you enough for the first month. We have enough food here. We send a lot of food down to Georgetown to different agencies and everything.
So you help
Frank, and then
at the Presbyterian Church.
Yeah.
So they handled 2 days a week, correct?
Yeah.
They handled Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, and I think the Anglican Church on Friday.
Yeah.
And then Saturday and Sunday, the Methodist and the Lutheran Church. They do Saturday and Sunday. I think it's sandwiches on Sunday afternoon,
But every day of the week,
there's food available.
There's food available for somebody to go find a meal. That's right.
Anybody, no matter who they are, they can come in and have a meal.
Yes, isn't that great?
Just come in and enjoy it. I mean, it's great food. I go there myself on Saturday morning when I can.
So Monday, Tuesday, Pawleys Island Presbyterian. Yeah. Wednesday, Thursday, Precious Blood of Christ Catholic Church. Friday, I think it's All Saints.
Yes.
They have
All
that's
Saints. Right. And Saturday and Sunday.
And Saturday we have breakfast at Precious Blood.
Yes.
And then I think Sunday nights might be at St. Peter. Is it St.
Yeah,
Peter's?
probably. One of the many. I know.
St. Paul's.
I think there's enough food for everybody. There's no day that they can't get a meal somewhere.
That's wonderful. And you've probably met a lot of nice people. Do we have some repeat customers that come back?
Well, mostly the same people, but there are other people come too, and I'm happy when parishioners come in and enjoy a meal there and see what's being done. I think it's great. We share with them. It's one thing to feed people. It's another issue to eat with them. Yes. It makes it much more belonging to everybody. That's right. Yes, for the people who may not have a lot of money or a lot of food, but anybody can come, and it's good to mix with the people who come there.
It is
we're
good.
Part of the same human family.
Socialize with them, break bread with them.
Absolutely. I think that's
just like Jesus did, just like our Lord did.
Absolutely. Went to their homes. Yeah. Even the bad guys, their homes.
Yeah. He went to all the homes.
He did.
Tax collectors and everybody.
We all have to chip in and see what's happening and enjoy it and take pride in it.
But all the people that come seem to be really nice folks that come to Father Pat's Kitchen.
Great volunteers. I would say thank you to all our wonderful volunteers. In case you see this podcast, that's a great blessing. Know that you're there. You love doing it. And the school kids, high school and junior high, all the young people that come and all the people who make an effort and see you. They're so happy just to be there, and you're doing something beautiful for God. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
I was hungry, and you gave me to eat. Thirsty, you gave me drink. Naked, in your clothing.
So you move here. You get the Parish Life Center built with a great committee, and then
a lot of hard workers, and donations and hardworking people who love the church and say, well, we really need something big.
Then we get the Father Pat's Kitchen started, and
Yes,
that gets rolling.
that's
It
right.
becomes very.
That, yeah.
And then you've had a lot of great committees along the way, like Outreach Committee does a lot of work.
Some great people, and the people usually we have a food drive for Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving, and everybody brings food, and we put it all together, and we have a list of the families that we give every year that need, with kids and a big family, and they need food. We deliver it. We deliver it at Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving. We feed up to about 100 families each time, close to 100 anyhow, maybe stretching a little bit.
They get canned goods, rice, grits, cereal,
everything,
peanut butter and jelly, eggs,
everything,
milk,
fresh food. If I get fresh food earlier,
they get some kind of meat, like a big turkey or ham.
Everything, a bit of everything. It's good, and something for the kids too. We don't have kids. We have, at least we used to at the church have something the kids could, something for the kids. Toys or clothing for the kids.
For that. Well, when we do Angel Tree.
Yeah.
When the people.
Angel Tree. Yeah. So a lot of people help. Not just Father Pat, but it's a lot of great people.
Yes, everybody pitches in and helps, and it makes it.
Well, to see it, they enjoy it, and they love doing something beautiful. And
a lot of people that move here retire here, and they're wanting to find a way to help.
Yeah.
So it's so great that we have Father Pat's Lunch Kitchen, or that we have the local lunch kitchens. Oh, the lights went off for a second. Or that we have outreach committees, or all the different things. There's just so many ways that people can help, and we do have a lot of very helpful people, very smart people that help in many, many different ways.
But that's what it's all about. Like, I was hungry, it gave me to eat, and I think there's people, sometimes they work, but they don't get much money for what they do, and they can't afford any high-priced food, any high-powered groceries. So we do pretty well, I think, with the food from the stores, and I thank all the stores. Now I'm not sure how much each one gives. We do very well by the stores, and sometimes after Christmas and Easter they have a lot of candy left over, stuff that's really good, and we get that too. All kinds of surprises sometimes.
Oh, we can't forget the Easter baskets.
Oh, the Easter baskets.
Easter baskets, yes. So let's talk about what happens on Easter Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know where I got the idea somewhere, and I thought,
Remember, I don't know why these lights keep going up, but remember when the Piggly Wiggly was here?
Yeah.
And we knew them, and they said they helped get that together. And so you put together a little Easter basket. I must have been at least 100.
Yes, and we still do it.
And so you have a chocolate Easter bunny in there, and a couple of some candies, and a little toy or a stuffed animal.
I'm so happy they all run up and they want their basket, and it's beautiful. Some parts of the world they do that. I'm sure in Europe there's many places where they do a lot of stuff for the kids. But I think it's nice to do it at the Mass and have the kids come and pick their baskets, and they're so proud of it. So
and the children look forward to that. That's really fun. At the end of Easter Mass, they go up and get their Easter basket. You always bless the Easter baskets. So you've retired as the pastor of Precious Blood, but you're still in the area.
I'm still helping out.
You still have Mass at Precious Blood sometimes, or here confessions, or do weddings. You're also
some funerals, different whatever people need.
And then you also are at St. Michael's.
Yes,
So what are you doing up at St. Michael's?
I do a lot of stuff. On a Saturday evening, most times I have confessions from 1 to 4, and then 4 o'clock Mass, and that's a big Mass, probably 900 to 1,100 people at that.
That's a big church.
It's a big church. I do the 9 sometimes, depending what Father needs are, So I do the 6 o'clock sometimes and the 9 o'clock on Sunday, but I like the 4 because you're good for the weekend.
Good for the weekend.
So I get an early weekend,
So let's talk about a typical day in the life of a priest. So what time do you normally wake up in the morning?
No, I get up tomorrow. I get up at 5:30. I think I got out.
Okay, so a priest always has to say their office.
You have to say the breviary. They call it breviary. It's the psalms and prayers that the priests have to say. You have morning prayer, midday morning prayers, and lauds in the morning, and 9 morning prayer, and then noon prayers, just 3 psalms and some prayers, and then 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Different times of the day.
So do you just go into a room by yourself, or go somewhere quiet and say your prayers?
Oh yes. If you're on a retreat and with other priests, you can do it in common. But normally, if you're on your own, you do it on your own.
Okay, so you have to do that.
And then you say Mass every day, most every day anyhow. Sometimes you may not want to because you might be doing traveling or something. But
Does a priest have to say mass every day?
It doesn't have to, but most priests do, I imagine.
Okay. So, well, I'm trying to think back to when you were our priest, our parish pastor. So, and then you have to do mass. Do you have to counsel people?
Oh yeah, well you get up with morning, have mass, and sometimes after mass you have confessions, and after that, if there are any sick calls, you go and do them at the hospital or
You've always been
Georgetown.
so good about the sick
Well,
calls at the nursing homes
yeah,
and the
at the
hospitals.
hospital, yeah,
I know that you can be
yeah,
depended upon
yeah,
to show up at
yeah, that's
all, the
right.
Walkman Georgetown
Yeah,
hospitals and the
I think
nursing homes.
Father Paul does a great job on that too. So
Yeah.
once he gets word somebody is sick, he heads out to the hospital.
Thank
It's a
you
lot
so
of
much for
hard work,
doing that.
but I spent a lot of time there today already. I've met two or three people, and they'd say, well, then something else said, well, somebody down here. She's from, let's say, Michael, the joke officer. I said, sure. So he took me down, took me by the hand, and took me down.
Well, they know you and love you in the hospital.
Yeah, well, the security guys, they're great. They know me come in, and nurses and doctors, they're very helpful.
Father Pat, anytime I've sat and talked with you, when Pat and I sit and talk with you for a while, or we all go out to eat supper somewhere, your
Yes.
phone seems to ring a lot because you have to be available if there's an
Oh,
emergency.
you do. In emergency, you have to, you're a priest, no matter if you're not pastor, but that doesn't make any difference. If people need you, you go and visit the hospital, sick.
Somebody's dying,
and
emergency.
be there for them. And sometimes because they know you for a lot of years, they want you, But the priests always go when they call. They do that.
I remember several years ago, my nephew was overseas in combat, and there was something that he was shot at or shot, and we were
yes, I know him very well.
We were so worried, but we called, and Liv called. She said, "Call Father Pat right away."
And we had a mass.
And we did, and it was just our little family, and you said mass right then and there.
In the chapel, yeah.
And we were so thrilled, and John survived, and he's doing well today. So
he was a lucky man to get shot in the brain.
Right.
And
Holy Spirit and his guardian angel were looking out for him for sure.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate those prayers because you've always prayed for us, and
Yeah.
I remember the first time hearing that you were coming to town, and Pat said, well, I invited our new parish priest to supper and I was out of town.
Yes.
I said, what did our house look like? Oh my gosh, I can't. He said, it doesn't matter. We had a good time. So you and Pat have become good friends over the years. And
great.
Yeah, y'all like to eat meat for breakfast sometimes. And so we're gonna continue to take you out some more.
Yeah, thank you, Kat. Thank you.
I've appreciated all the chocolate over the years, and
Okay,
the little coins you've given to the children.
It keeps people happy, I give people, sometimes people are in need or whatever, give them a little box of chocolate and say, let it happen for them, let it happen for them,
Yeah, but you travel around the country, doing weddings and baptisms.
I do occasionally. I don't as much now,
but you have been.
I've done a lot in the past, New York and different places.
And then because you have a good relation, when you were up at the Soldiers' Home in D.C., you got to know the Army Chorus, and you got them.
Well, that's another thing. I came here and I was in the Soldiers' Home, and I was doing a funeral there. And those guys got an organist, called an organist in from Fort Myers, from the Army Chorus, and she came and she played beautiful music, and I met her afterwards, and she said, "You Catholic priest here?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I know a few guys, Pablo and Mike and Bob. They're all Catholics." She said. I said, "They are. Yeah, I'd like to meet them." I said, "Oh, I'd love to meet them. Those guys, those soldiers, So she said, they're all singers and musicians." I said, "But that's great." So anyway, I got to meet Pablo and Mike, and they said when I was leaving, maybe we'd come down there some. The Army Corps. So they did. So our first visits of the Army Corps, they came in Pershing's own, a bus, they had their own bus.
First performance,
But the security reason, you couldn't have that. It's easier for them to come on their own or fly down, whatever. But they're good men. We did, I think, about 24 concerts already, maybe 25.
But and then the local families are very good about opening up their homes to them, giving them places to stay.
The local restaurants are very good. I would think and Alfie's and Bistro and Austin's. Everybody tries to have.
Yeah, it's great. So they have a good time, and I know that Mike McCoy still comes back on special occasions to sing. I love when he sings Ave Maria.
I'd like to get them down one time again. A few of them. Special event. I don't know what that'd be, but we'll find something.
There was something else I was going to ask you about, but I forgot what I was going to say. Something we used to always do together. But I know when you go around. This is what I was going to talk to you about. You say sometimes when you used to go out to eat, sometimes you were eating by yourself at a
Yes,
restaurant. And so people walk up to you all the time, not just Catholic people, all people.
all people.
You have met all the people.
Father Pat, if I go to a place regularly, like Arwes or Landolfi's and things, just Father Pat, let's say hi to them, and they do. And sometimes I don't know them very well, but they're all loving and caring people, really are.
Yeah, you said sometimes people have been away from church for a long time, or they want to just get something off their mind that's been bothering them.
That's what I'm there for. Listen to them and chat with them and give them a little bit of hope, And
that's right.
That's it.
That's all we want is a little bit of hope.
Some are hurting, some needing just a kind word, and we're not the final judge,
So you've got to know a lot of people in Pawleys Island who just walk right up to you and
talk
to you.
A lot more than I know. They know me.
So, and you've developed good relationships with the other churches in town, like you were talking about Frank Holt's Club.
Yeah.
AME Church.
I'm retired now. I don't do that. They're good people. They're good ministers. Doing the best for their people.
There is a ministerial association. It's like the Walk My Neck ministers.
Well, they have it here. Yeah, they have a ministerial
association.
They have meetings. They haven't been retired for 5 or 6 years now.
So I know, like during Advent, that
they do Advent and Lent to go to different churches and have a program there. I think we started that with Frank Holtzclaw and myself, and it was another guy at Methodist. I can't think of his name, but we're all willing to help and jump in and do something.
Hartmut Vega? Was it Hartmut Vega?
I'm not sure now.
No, I don't know.
But anyhow, so many people have come and gone. It's
hard to remember. So I know you do have that ecumenical service during Lent.
Yes, during Lent.
Every church takes a turn.
During Lent, Advent,
I think it's on Wednesdays.
Have a choir, something for the kids to sing or something, do something.
Yeah, really.
I'm not sure of the whole picture now, but at least I know what we did.
Well, we're all Christians. We all believe in Christ. We know that He died on the cross for us, so it's good that we can celebrate together.
Yes.
And find our commonality.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're all part of the Christian family, and we have to work together and pray together and come together occasionally, unite people, and so that's important. The Lord would love that.
That's right.
Gather in His name, and that's powerful.
Okay. Do you ever get back to Ireland?
I was there in July for a wedding. One for a wedding. My niece Claire got married. She'd been here a few times with Mary, and we had a great wedding. I was supposed to go during COVID, but Mary got married, and I couldn't go because it was so bad over there. Locked up for a few days, and you couldn't go. Could only travel a certain distance.
Right.
There were only 15 people at a reception and a wedding, so it was bad. So I went for Claire's, and Mike, my driver, came too.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so but you've been back before that for other family celebrations.
Oh yeah, over the years I've been there for a lot of stuff, baptisms, and I don't know how many I baptized, but a bunch of them. I was away a lot too, though, with the army different places.
So, and they call you Patty, don't they?
Patty.
I like that, Patty. Yes. My niece Anne Marie married Alan O'Hara, and I believe you performed that ceremony.
Yes. And the O'Hara's on the bread factory and Foxford. I didn't go this time. I didn't see the mom this time, but last time I went, they gave me going to put on your gloves and do masks, and you see, no human hand touches that flour from once it gets into.
Once they start working with it,
it's all machinery does it, the whole thing. It's to show
very
you
sterile, very clean.
And to take it together and show you what comes out of the loaf of bread and it's wrapped and everything. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So when you walk through the what's the name of the bread called?
Foxford. Yeah.
Well, did Miss Joyce walk you through, or somebody else walked you through the factory?
I think Miss Joyce came with me that time.
Joyce came with me.
Yeah.
So it's called O'Hara's. Is that the name?
O'Hara's Bakery. Everybody knows the West Coast of Ireland.
And the reason Anne Marie met Alan at Clemson because he was a soccer player.
Oh yes, that's right. The two brothers, both of them stayed in this country.
Right. And then you've had a niece that attended Clemson, didn't you?
Yes. And she's teaching French. She was teaching French.
And you've had other nieces that have attended college in the United States?
Oh yes, a lot of them. Yeah, nephews, Tommy, my nephew in New York, he's a lawyer. My brother Paddy went to the Jesuit University in the Bronx,
I can't think of it.
Anyhow.
But your nieces and nephews are highly educated and very successful.
Yes, they're all Mary and Claire. They're all qualified teachers and different things, and others some of the boys are in business. I got 30 nieces and nephews, so it's hard to keep up with them.
But they're all very successful. I know you're proud of all of them.
All doing well. Yeah, they're happy people. they're all going to church. It's a nice thing too.
That's real good. That's hard to find these days.
Oh my
People,
goodness,
young people that
that's
still
great.
go to church.
It's nice to see that they have that going for them anyhow.
The great thing about going to church on Sunday is it gives you some balance in life when other things are going this way,
Well,
stress from job or relationships.
Step down
Just
from
it's
it
a
all.
quiet place
leave
to
it
have
be,
some balance.
Give it to the Lord. Take care of it when they can't be there. That's important.
It really gives you more than it takes away from your life.
Yeah.
Is there any place else in the world that you would like to travel? Anything else you would like to do that you haven't done yet?
Oh, I don't know, Catherine. I've seen a lot of the world from New Guinea to Australia to Fiji, Hawaii.
You've been to Italy?
I'm just going through, and I don't know. I think some days I think I'd like to take a ship, boat to the islands. You know what I mean? To cruise.
Yeah, like you like another cruise.
I think a river cruise would be more peaceful and happier. But say it's very expensive, so I'm not sure what.
Maybe we can all pitch in and help you out on that river cruise.
You never know.
Do you want to do a river cruise in the United States or in Europe?
Oh no, just near U.S. We have a lot of beautiful places in the U.S. Like Memphis to New Orleans or whatever that one is. But there are other places too. Same in Canada, they have a lot of river cruises.
Have you been to the Basilica in Rome? Have you been to the Vatican?
Yeah, I've been to the Vatican. I met John Paul II.
Did you?
Yes, I think it was very interesting. I worked there for consecration of a bishop for the military, and so I was invited down. I was chaplain at NATO at that time, so I went down to Rome. So after the Feast of Epiphany every year, they consecrate bishops from the different countries of the world, like 8 or 10, 12, the larger countries anyhow.
Right.
And so the bishop for the military being consecrated, and sent me a message to come down. And so I did, and was about 30 family members and 40 there. And so after the ordination consecration of all the bishops, they have a room where the Pope will go to each room for each country. They have several rooms where they do that stuff.
Okay.
Meet the Pope. So John JP2 came into the room and shook hands and came round, and he came to me. He said, "Father, what's your name?" I said, "Father Pat." "Father Pat, what do you do?" "I'm a chaplain." "And where are you a chaplain?" I said, "Your Holiness, I'm chaplain at NATO." He said, "Father Pat, where are you from?" I said, "Oh, Your Holiness, I'm from Ireland." "Oh, you can't be a chaplain in NATO. The Irish are not part of NATO." "Oh, no," I said, "No, we're not part of NATO, but I'm an American citizen." "Oh, well, that explains it all now," he said, "Father Pat, that makes sense."
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm glad you had a nice chat with John Paul II.
Yeah.
You've also met Mother Teresa?
Twice. In San Antonio years ago, I was taking care of the retired archbishop, doing mass for him in the morning. And then she was there one time, and then later on, and she came to the soldiers' home, and we got her in there. It was fun.
Was she just a short little lady?
Short lady, and we had a place called the Rose Chapel. A saint in the military property, you can't put a saint's name on, but the Rose Chapel is small, so I said we'll put it in the Protestant chapel with Protestant worship, and it was a big chapel. So Mother Teresa was up in front of the altar. I was over there, and the Protestant chaplain was there. And after which she came, and I welcomed her, brought her to her chair, and then I went over and she called me. "You want to leave me in a big chair on my own in front of this big altar?" I said, "No, Mother Teresa, I'll come over and sit beside you. That would be nice." So anyway, I did, and then she was holding the mic. It's heavy. I said, "Oh, I'll hold the mic for you, Mother Teresa." She said, okay, Father Pat, you hold the mic. The mic. Then she started some prayers and talks, and then she started to walk around. I couldn't keep up with her. I said, "Mother Teresa, with the crowds here, I can't keep up with you." She turned around and said, "Father Pat, you can't even hold the mic." I said, "Yes, well, would you back? You hold it yourself, Mother Teresa." She said, "I sure will."
She had a lot of energy, didn't she?
She had a lot of energy. She was great, funny. Could be with
humbleness. She did a lot of great work. A lot of great work.
Great work, and her nuns are doing great work.
What was her main message, do you think, to everybody, that we need to treat people with dignity, or what?
Just to help them helpless. That the people with leprosy and disease in India, she worked with all the outcasts and the poor people on the street who had hardly very little clothing. Nobody cares for them. And all over the world, where people are poor and struggling to survive and struggling to get help. She just centers all over. She's one in Ireland, she's one in Belfast, and that's anything in Dublin. But she has a place in Belfast. But all over the world, and a lot of the countries, they have their nuns are there.
What was the order that she founded? Do you remember the name of the order? I can't remember the name of the order she found.
No, I was going to say the little flower, but no, I
No, it's
don't.
not. We could look
But
that up.
anyhow,
That's all right. That's all
other
right.
Christian order, anyhow.
Have you met any presidents of the United States?
No, I don't think. When I was close to President Reagan, I was stationed at Fort Campbell,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we had a plane crash in Gander where 250 people were killed. And so I came down to visit Fort Campbell, but we're just a little distant. We didn't get there.
Do you know any other celebrities that you remember? I know that you knew Cokie Roberts.
Oh, who that?
Cokie Roberts. She was.
Oh, yeah, Cokie was a good friend. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Cokie was great. Now,
And you've
yeah.
met a lot of local
I did
mayors.
you know, through General Flynn, Jack Flynn. He was a great friend. He was senior POW in North Vietnam for 6 years. God bless him. And then some of the other great people and leaders and generals and all good people.
You've known a lot of football coaches, a lot of college coaches.
Cousin John Donovan was assistant coach at Georgia Tech for a while, and with George O'Leary and Ralph Friedgen, so I got to meet them all. I went to a few Gator Bowls and enjoyed that, and different things, you know. And so
did we ever take you to Clemson for a football game?
No, I don't. I went for a graduation. Was it
for Grace?
Grace
Barnett. Yeah. Yeah, you just were at Waccamaw High School to watch Grace get inducted to the Hall of Fame for athletics.
I was.
Yeah.
I was invited, so I went. It was nice. Not too many people there. I had a night of football. I think should have done a quieter night. Invite the seniors from the present class to go there and see what kids gone ahead of them had done.
So you're saying do it during a school day so everybody can see?
Yeah, have it at night when there's nothing else going on, and I think it would be a great. It's a nice event. Gracie had wonderful, and the other girl, the person, were two.
Nikki
Legg, yeah. And all those people are wonderful people.
Yeah, and I think that it was Amelia Jones was up there.
Yes, Jones,
and then,
there
Brian
was
Brennan,
another one or two I think that I knew from somewhere, but all wonderful young people, you know, positive and outlook.
Two more athletes too.
Positive outlook on life.
Well, that's great that Waccamaw does that to honor their athletes. They've worked so hard, and I remember when Emma Sullivan was on USC's swim team, you would go to a lot of Emma's meets.
Yes, Emma and Patrick.
That's right.
They were like number 13. Patrick was number 5 in the country in CAA swimming.
Yeah.
But you know, it's hard to keep that going when you want to go finish your education and get a job, and you know, when you're swimming, you practice. Get up at 4 or 5 in the morning, you go swim and then go to school.
It's hard. It's hard to be a student athlete.
It's tough on a young person, but if that's what you're made for, you're going to do it, great. But if you think there's something else in life that you'd like to do, it takes a long time to become a professional swimmer, I suppose. And then I don't know, could you make a living on? I don't know how that works.
Well, we have had a lot of talented young people that have come from our church that have gone on to do great things. Yeah. So we're very fortunate about that, and thank you for the inspiration that you've given them too in their lives, because we've needed all that. So before we finish up everything, would you be willing to give our listeners an Irish blessing?
To give the Irish blessing?
Yes. Could you do that?
Will I do it now?
Yes.
Do I just stand up or just?
You're right there. You're good right where you are.
May the Lord we work for, in the name of the Father and of the Son. May the Lord work for your hands to do. May your purse always hold a corner to. May the rain always fall on your window pane. May the rainbow follow each rain. May the hand of a friend always be near you. May the good Lord be with you to guide you and show you. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine gently on your face and rain fall soft on your feet. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand, and may you find your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Father Pat. We love you, and our town of Pawleys Island loves you so much, and all over the United States and Ireland. So thank you for your service to us and to the people here, and we wish you many continued years of good health.
We're doing good. We're trying to keep going.
I hope you have a lot more good adventures, okay?
Yeah, we do our best,
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see you soon around town. Take care.
Thanks, Kat. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Father Pat did a great job answering all my questions and just talking and telling us the story of his life. Truly a life of service to others. He has a great devotion to our Lord Jesus Christ and to the Blessed Mother. He says Mass every day. Pat and I went out to eat with him after I had interviewed him. We were at Landolfi's. So many people came up and wanted to speak with him. His phone was ringing constantly because, you know, if you have a loved one that's dying or needs a blessing, you call a priest. And so he gets his phone calls all the time. He will probably work until the moment he dies and goes to heaven. But he is just a hardworking man, a good man, and I am so grateful that he had time to do this interview. So thank you, Father Pat, and thank you for the great example you've set for all of us and for giving us your blessing and just devoting your life to being a good servant of Jesus Christ. Next week, we will have another great guest for you, a local guest that you will recognize and know as we approach the holiday season. So I hope you will tune in for episode 19. Will you please rate, review, subscribe to the podcast? It does not cost anything to do any of those things. Just push a button, type something, tell a neighbor, tell a friend. We want everybody to know about Pawleys Island and our wonderful people that live here. I was talking to a friend. I said, I could interview one person a week for probably at least 100 people. I could keep going and going and going. There are so many wonderful stories of the people in Pawleys Island, Murrells Inlet, and Georgetown. I haven't even begun to scratch the surface. So thank you for listening. We will have lots more stories to tell of our wonderful town. Until we talk again, I hope you have a great weekend and a great week. I hope your football team wins. We're moving into basketball season. I hope your basketball team wins. Love you lots. God bless you and see you soon. Bye.